Welcome to a video where I showcase 5 things that you may or may not know. Some of these facts may be in plain sight to some, but for others this may be the very first time that you hear about them. Let's get started. Starting things off relatively simple, did you know, as discovered by Mr. JT, we have yet another oversight on PopCap's behalf, because clearly, they are the most talented game developers since Activision Blizzard. Anyway, this oversight is how Party Imp and his mech have the incorrect crosshairs, with the Party Imp having his mech's crosshair, and vice versa. This is easily distinguishable when comparing them to the stock Imp, who has the correctly assigned crosshairs. Once again, another oversight within the sea of oversights of this obviously rushed game. Secondly, did you also know, as pointed out by Noob Master Pro in the Tourist Trap Island map, on the final objective minigame, it is common knowledge that the minigame is essentially a simple tug of war between the plant and zombie factions. What you may not know, however, is how the beginning of the game mode is swayed in favor of the plant faction. I say this as the switch does not move backwards for the zombies at all. In fact, it does not move at all when the zombies touch it until the plants touch it, effectively granting them the first strike. This may often explain why plants easily are able to storm the device forward, given the game waits for them to touch it first before the zombies get to move it, once more swaying the final game mode into the plant's favor as always, like a vast majority of Final Turf minigames. Heading back to Garden Warfare 2, did you know, as discovered by HD, there is an unused setting for the scuba soldier's primary weapon that suggests that at one point during the game's development, that scuba soldier's weapon was supposed to have gravity applied to it. As shown here in this footage by HD, the weapon's gravity would have been extremely harsh, limiting his effective range to mid to close range combat at best. Perhaps PopCap were attempting to make more changes as to make him stand out more from the tank commander variant, though they must have decided against it, due to it potentially hurting his performance too much. Jumping back to BFN, did you know, as pointed out by CNU, the Star Stuck upgrade for All Star can also be triggered without actually deploying the shield. The trick is to jump right as you initiate the shield deploy animation. If timed correctly, you can trigger the upgrade's knockback, but without actually deploying the shield itself. This can allow you to preform some serious trolling to annoy the fuck out of your enemies, even more than what Star Truck normally allows you to. Lastly, did you know, as also pointed out by Noob Master Pro, the Peachy upgrade does have a technical advantage that is never mentioned, that does actually grant the user a slight window of leeway when it comes to using the upgrade. The description states that the upgrade increases the stun duration upon direct hits against enemies with the Peach. However, this is not the case in a technical sense. Whilst yes, the duration is increased on direct hits, the way it is handled is through the use of an inner blast radius, which actually has a defined value, though it is rather small. This does however mean that in a technical sense, that whilst you still have to be accurate with your Peach tosses, you can get away with not hitting them, as long as it lands right next to them, in order to get the extra stun duration.